What do you think, Tanya, it is about your friendship with Raquelle that made you, in those instances, reach out to her? Like, what is it? Because I think what you just raised there, Raquelle, is we struggle with reaching out. We struggle with asking for help. We struggle with calling someone up and saying, I'm having a bad day. Like, that is a very vulnerable, challenging thing for a lot of us to do. And a lot of us will wait months, maybe even years, before we open up to our friend and say, this is what I've been going through. So what was it about your friendship that gave you a sense of trust in Raquelle? And what can we learn from that? And what can people listening take away from that when they're struggling to figure out who of my friends should I tell and what can I tell them?
Yeah, I do think that trust is built over time. So I think I was able to kind of see over time that she was a very trustworthy person. I know if whatever I told her, and also like I'm in an industry that I need to keep things to myself, but I always knew that I could tell her, and it was like a vault. And that was, she's just proven time and time again that I can trust her. But something that is very unique to Raquelle that I don't think, and I'm not as good as she is, but when you come to her for something, she doesn't give you her opinion. She listens to you. She doesn't judge you. She doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of times if somebody's going through something, somebody comes back and they're like, oh, he broke my heart again. And I'm like, he was always awful. He treated you bad. Like, it's none of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, we always just want to give our opinion or kind of share. And she just listens. She's there for you. She encourages you. And I think that's something that I try to take into my other friendships too, because I can be the opposite sometimes. And I really want to be better about no judgment. Like, I know I could tell her anything and she will just take it and like, it won't even affect you at times. No, it's a gift.
There's one word that you said that I wanted to point out to everyone, which I loved because I've never heard a friend described that way. She's a vault. And I'm like, that is a great...
The visual of like an actual vault.
It's like your face on the vault.
Nothing getting through.
Yeah, there's nothing. But, and there's the idea that like, because we all have a friend that you like tell a secret to, and like, please don't tell anyone, but they're going to let it leak or something's going to get out, whatever it is. Everyone has a friend like that. And But when your friend's a vault, like I love that thought because there's such a safety there. There's such a security there. That's such a great visual. And Raquelle, with you and Tanya as well, like what is it that I guess allowed you to be a friend who is able to listen and not judge? Like where does that come from for you? Because I think a lot of us feel that if we're not immediately reaffirming what our friends are saying, then our friends are not going to like us. Right? So like most people think if my friend came up to me and said, Jay, I just broke up and, he was like this, whatever. And then if you don't say, oh yeah, he's a jerk. And of course, yeah, you're the best. Like we feel like our friends, right? Like we feel like our friends are not going to feel.
You're supposed to be on my side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if you're listening and just being patient, a lot of people might just be like, well, Raquelle doesn't care about me or she doesn't really feel sorry for me or whatever. What's given you that ability to be more patient to say, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to listen and be more honest with people rather than just like tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah. Well, I think it comes from trying to fully understand and live out true unconditional love. And when you love someone unconditionally, you're not always telling them what they want to hear. You're saying or listening to what hopefully will lead them to peace. And what I've found is that when you're bashing someone, maybe in a moment it feels good, but it doesn't lead to real peace. Even if that person did do something wrong, it's like, okay, you know what? That sucks that happened. That's not okay. But we're not going to waste our time dwelling on that or bashing that person. We're going to, focus on the future. We're going to focus on what leads ultimately to peace. And so I love my friends. I love the people that are close to me. And so I try to give an honest answer. And then sometimes, the person gets back with that person or they stay with them. And so imagine Tanya's one of my close friends. She's broken up with a guy and I'm like, yeah, he's this, he's that, whatever. And then they're back together and I've said all these horrible things about the person that really she was just venting to me in a moment of a hard time that they were having. And so that's the angle that I tried to come at it from is what is the most helpful? What is the most peaceful? What is going to be encouraging the most to her?
Yeah, that's great. I think that's the kind of friend that everyone says they want, And then we're always not sure when we actually get that.
Well, how do we grow? I mean, I welcome that from my friends. I hope people are telling me the truth. I hope people are being honest with me and not just telling me what I want to hear, because then I can't grow if people aren't being truthful with me.
Absolutely. I feel that even in marriage, like I'm married to someone, like I officiated a wedding last year and I was practicing to my wife before I officiated, and Radhi literally told me the day before that it sucked. And I was,
I love her.
And
she's so honest.
And every part of my ego was like, no, it doesn't. Like I put so much effort into this. Like, don't you know who I am? And I listened because it's my wife and I trust her. And after my ego kind of like quietened down a bit, I was like listening to her and I was like, she's saying this for my benefit.
Yeah.
She wants me to be awesome tomorrow. And she's telling me in advance so that I can be awesome.
Wow.
I changed the whole thing, wrote it. It went great. Everything was fine. Everyone loved it. But it was so interesting because it's so hard to hear that from the people closest to us sometimes, because we just want to hear them adore us and validate us, right? So
yeah, and of course, you know, if Tanya's coming to me and she's been really hurt by someone, I'm not immediately going to be like, well, you know what?
Yeah,
you deserve it. No, it's acknowledging it. It's being like, wow, that's not okay. That's wrong. But then, you know, not feeding it.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
But you know what's interesting? What I've learned in friendships and relationships is like there is no right and wrong. There, you know, there's two people. There's two different perspectives. We've all grown up differently. We handle situations differently, and I think that as an individual, we just think our way is the right way and the way we do things is the way that everybody should do things, when in reality, that's not how life is. Yeah. And so it's kind of just, you know, learning how to work in that space of like, okay, this is how you see it. This is how I see it. Now, how can we work together to like get to the finish line?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.